This video is the full CARS routine, so controlled articular rotations, our mobility maintenance program that ideally we should do every day to bring our joints through their full range of motion. And we're going to be doing it in under 10 minutes, and this is how you would do it on a daily basis after you get to know the CARS really well. If you have never done the CARS routine before, please see my prior video, Introduction to Kinstretch, in the full mobility maintenance routine. There'll be more cueing in that to help you learn them. This is for people who just need a little reminder about how to get it done in a quick timeline. So here we go. We're going to start at our neck, move all the way down to our ankles. So first one, cervical spine. We're going to go chin to chest. We're going to scrape the collarbone to the right, dip your ear behind your shoulder, roll your face up to the ceiling, dip your left ear behind your left shoulder, and then scrape your collarbone down. We're going to go 2 more in that direction. And then we're going to go 3 in the opposite direction. So chin to chest, scraping collarbone to the left, dipping the ear behind the left shoulder, rolling up, dipping your ear behind your right shoulder, and rolling all the way down. We'll do 2 more times in this direction. Remembering as we do this, we're trying to keep the shoulders away from the ears, so gently pulling the arms down towards the floor and searching for your biggest range of motion that you have right now. Great. Moving down, we're going to go lumbothoracic car. I like to do this with my hands at my chest, and I'm going to face sideways so you can see a little more cueing. We're going to go ahead and tuck that tailbone, connect into the low belly muscles here, and we're going to go chin to chest. We're going to round and roll forward into spinal flexion as much as you can. When you cannot go any further, we're going to take the chest, we're going to rotate it to the right, so you'll twist your arms kind of to the right, steer them to the right, and then we're going to go into a little bit of a back bend. Once we get into our little back bend, we're going to roll up straight towards the ceiling, so shoulders straight up, and then we'll back bend towards the other side, and then we'll roll forward down through the middle. We'll go a few more times on that direction. Really trying to keep the low back out of the equation, so we're trying to do this in the upper part of the spine. One more time. Continuing to feel that tuck of the tailbone and control of the low core muscles to help you stabilize a low body. We'll go some in the other direction. So big deep breath in, rounding forward, chin to chest, let the tops of the shoulders round forward, peel the scapula forward, and then we'll go to the other direction. Feeling that when you come back into extension, into your little back bend moment, you'll feel how the core has to turn on to really stabilize you so that you don't just sink into your lumbar spine, your low back. We'll go one more time. You should feel some nice tension in the low part of the body, and that's helping us isolate in the upper part of the spine. Good. Coming down, we're going to go full spine, so into quadruped. Tucking the toes for this one just helps you get a little bit of a grip on the floor. We're going to take a couple quick cat-cows. So into spinal extension here in your cow moment, and then into spinal flexion in your cat moment. Through. And then we're going to take this into a full articulation. So we're going to stay in our cat, pressing the floor away, really tucking that tailbone, finding as much rounding as you can through the entire spine. Big deep breath in, and then we're going to start to flare the low back, so tailbone starts to go. We're going to let extension travel up through the back, one vertebra at a time. The spine and the neck will be the last thing to come up here. And then from our cow position, same thing, inhale, exhale, tuck that tailbone, start to round through the low back. Keep the upper part of the spine in extension as long as you can, pressing that floor away. And then once you get into the upper part of the back, you'll finally let it come back into flexion and rounding. Great. Last time. Feeling how your core muscles here help you find deeper articulation through our bones. Great. We're going to come back up. We're going to go for our upper body. So scapula first, hands to the side. We're going to take the scapula. We're going to lift them all the way up into elevation. We're going to squeeze them back. So down and then forward. So up and back and down and forward. So elevate, retract, and adduct in towards midline. So adduction is coming in towards midline with your body parts. And then depress, so lower, and then protract forward, which is just the reaching forward of them. Again, searching for our biggest range possible, keeping the hands on the thighs, and then we're going to go the opposite direction for 4 and 3 and 2, and our last one, 1. Great. Glenohumeral joint is next, so where the bones of your arms come into the shoulder joint. We're going to start on our right. Externally rotate the entire arm, so sweep the entire inside of your arm up and open towards the ceiling. And we're going to keep that shoulder away from the ear as we do this. So left hand on your shoulder, we're going to sweep it up past midline, coming up into shoulder flexion. When we get about here, we have to change gears in order to get the arm behind us. So we're going to initiate internal rotation in the arm, high up in our joint. So taking a peek at your joint, you're going to rotate now the bones of your arms down towards the floor and then draw it behind you, squeeze it in towards midline as much as you can. Finding a little bit of contraction here in the body. So I'm holding myself nice and taut and controlled as I do this. So I'm really isolating just this one joint. Good. Last time on this side, again, we start an external rotation, sweep the arm up. When you can't go any further, again, take a peek at your joint, and you're going to initiate rotation here. Internally rotate, so arm is going to sweep down towards the floor behind you. So thumb goes in towards midline, pinky's out, and then to come back, lead with your pinky edge up. When you get about here, we're going to externally rotate to come all the way back in. Let's go for that left side. So start externally rotate, sweep. Internally rotate and draw the arm behind you. Again, it's nice to keep your opposite hand on your shoulder that you're working, just so you keep your scapula down and the shoulder away from the ear. That would be just a little bit of a compensation here. Good. We'll go last time. Great. Moving down the arm, we're going to go elbow and wrist next. So for your elbow, you're going to take your right sort of bicep in towards your rib cage, and we're going to start with the arm down, the palm forward. We're going to bend that elbow and then rotate the palm and down. So at the top and bottom, we're going to rotate that palm, which if you look, your elbow's rotating here. Kind of cool. Great. And same side, we're going to go for the wrist on this side. So now elbow's going to stay quiet. You're going to take your hand on your forearm, and I want you to kind of squeeze your forearm. So your right forearm that we're working, I want you to kind of make a fist and squeeze your tissue so you can kind of feel how all of your soft tissue kind of juices up there. And then from that, we're going to take this wrist into a nice circling. So around the world here, again, searching for our biggest range possible. Keeping our forearm parallel to the floor. And then when you feel confident in being able to keep your arm parallel to the floor, you can take your hand off and you're going to continue to do your wrist car without the forearm going all loosey-goosey on you. And then we'll go a few in the other direction. Searching again, biggest range, feels pretty good. Nice stretch for me, probably for you too. Great, and then we'll go to the other side. So elbow first, take your bicep into the side body, and then again, we're gonna flip that palm at the top and at the bottom. If you watch what your bones are doing, you'll see that rotation happening, the bones at the elbow joint. Last one. Good, and then back down. Wrist on the other side, take your hand on your forearm. I just always like to do this. It helps me just get my brain connected for this wrist car because a lot of times my elbow wants to rotate with it. So again, you're gonna find a gentle fist in that left side, squeeze all of the muscles in that forearm, and then you're gonna go for around the world here. So all the way around, finding biggest range you can. Once you feel that your forearm is nice and parallel to the floor and your brain has that cue connected, you'll take your hand off your forearm and then keep it going. Good. And reverse the directions, trying to make it nice and smooth as well. Great. We're going to move down to lower body, hips, knee, and ankle. For the hip car, I'm using a dowel here just to help me with my balance just a little bit. We're going to take our right leg up. First thing you're going to do is you're going to remember your rotation in your hips. So we're going to do these little tick-tocks. So my leg is just lifted into a little bit of hip flexion. And as I tick-tock my foot right and left, this is my moment of rotation into the hip. So foot in towards midline, external rotation, out to the side, internal rotation. This moment of rotation is the magic moment of this hip car. So what we're going to do is go leg back down, bring the leg into flexion, externally rotate. So bring that toe out towards midline. And then we're going to take your shape out to the side and open. When you can't go any further, we're going to internally rotate by starting to drop our knee and lift our toe a little bit. And then we're going to kick that leg all the way behind you and come back the way that you came. And again, hip flexion, externally rotate, open, internally rotate, kick behind you. I'm going to do this a couple times facing another direction so you can see a little bit of the back. So again, up, hip flexion, externally rotate, open. I'm keeping my hips square forward, so I'm isolating this in my hip joint. And then I'm going to internally rotate and immediately start to kick back into hip extension without my lumbar spine coming along for the ride. So I'm going to keep my lumbar spine nice and long by trying to keep my tailbone a little bit tucked. And then pull all the way back through. One more time on this side. Good. Other leg. Left side, hip flexion, and then do a little bit of your tick-tock. So tick-tock, tick-tock, ER, IR, external rotation, internal rotation, ER, IR. Use those abbreviations a lot in Kinstretch. Good, we're gonna externally rotate, open the leg out to the side. Hips are square forward. When I can't go any further, I'm gonna start to internally rotate and kick my leg behind me. And then I'll come back the way that I came. So it's like a little hopscotch here. And again, up, ER, open, IR, and all the way back. Nice and slow, finding a nice contraction throughout the rest of the body. So if you came and sort of pushed on me right now, you'd feel my body feels nice and irradiated, we like to say, so contracted. And we do that so that we can really isolate our joints. Good. All right, moving down to our knee. You can take a seat on the floor. I like to sit on a couple blocks for this one. We're gonna start with our right knee, and I like to hook myself here. So I take my right arm and I hook under my thigh. First thing I'm going to do, just like we did in the hip car, is I'm going to find my rotation first. So as I do this, you can see the bones of my shin are sweeping left and right, and this would be internal rotation coming in and external rotation sweeping out. Once we have that moment, we're going to start to add flexion and extension. So I'm going to externally rotate, I'm going to kick and bend, internally rotate and kick and bend, externally rotate, kick, internally rotate, kick. So the entire time I'm extending my leg, I'm thinking about maintaining the rotation I found at my knee. A couple more times. I think the knee car is super cool. Good, and relax. Let's go for the other side. So you're gonna hook your other side, left arm here under your left thigh. Find your rotation first, so sweeping, you can kind of think about like windshield wiper blades here on your car, sweeping left to right. So again, when they sweep out to the side, that's external rotation in the knee, and when they come in towards midline, that's internal rotation. Once we have that in our brain, we're gonna go ahead and add the rest of the motion, so flexion and extension. So we're gonna go up, extend, internally rotate, up and down. Externally rotate up and down. A couple more. Might feel a nice stretch in the back of your leg as well. Great. All right, ankles, last one. So now we're gonna keep the arm hook, so I kind of like to do it this way as well. And then I take my hand on my shin because now we want the knee to stay quiet and we want the bones of the shin to stay quiet. So again, we're gonna go around the world. So we've all done little ankle circles before, but for this one, I really want you to see if you can think about a spatula on your foot and you have a bowl of cookie dough and you're trying to get all of the cookie dough out with that spatula. So you're really sort of fighting for the biggest circle you can in this ankle. And we'll go the other direction. You can get a little bit of toe work going on here. So as I do this, I just kind of like to spread my toes, move them around as I'm doing this. You can point them, flex them, try to open them wide. Good. Let's go for that left side. And again, hand on the shin just gives you a little tactile cue to keep the knee nice and quiet. And we're going to go around the world here. And you can get a little bit of toe work going on. Searching for the outer range of the circle. And we'll go the other direction for 4 and 3 and 2 and last one 1. Great. So that was a full CARS routine. This video should help you do it a little bit quicker, and eventually you won't need the video at all. So I hope you feel great and have a good day.